1 year ago, I quit my $200K per year dream job. I sold everything and moved outside of the US with nothing but my laptop, some small recording equipment, and a one-way ticket to Thailand. I had no idea what to expect. I'd never even been to Thailand at that point, but what I found changed everything. In this video, I'm gonna give you a peer behind the scenes and share with you what life has really been like after 1 year living and working in Thailand. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give you this rose-tinted picture of everything. I'm gonna be very honest with you, very transparent in this video, because I want to give you the true behind the scenes. Not everything has been super, roses and unicorns or whatever this year. There's been a lot of uncertainty now that I am no longer having that stable paycheck. The beauty of a 9-to-5 is that you know every 2 weeks or whatever cadence that the money's coming in, and you know how much is coming in and things like that. When you leave the 9-to-5 life, there's more uncertainty. And so with that uncertainty came some challenges, came some struggles for me in the past year. So this is the part in the video where I give you the really unfiltered behind the scenes look at it. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, there was a lot of uncertainty this past year. Moving to Asia and stuff, of course, when you're in a new place like this, you want to take time to actually see things and explore things rather than just be working all the time. The other element of it is when you've done the traditional path your entire life, it is still a big adjustment to go from, the traditional path of, I graduated high school, then I went to college, I graduated college, and then I got a job, and then I got promoted, and I worked my way up. Going from that really trodden path and you're getting paid every 2 weeks on the dot, that paycheck's coming in consistently, to all of a sudden complete uncertainty. There is no consistent cadence at which you're getting paid, and there's a lot more up in the air. Not only that uncertainty is what I was dealing with, and this is probably the most primary, is that big revenue source last year was an affiliate. So basically, there was another content creator that had a lot of students that he would refer to me. So he was mentoring people, and a lot of them were looking to make a career change to something that would allow them to make more money, to work remote, and all the benefits of a cybersecurity job, essentially. And so for those people, he would send them over to me, and I would have a conversation with them just to see if I could help. And if I felt that I could, then I would pitch them on the program. I was able to get a lot of clients, fortunately, that way. However, the problem was, over the course of the last year, that affiliate, his business hit a rough patch, and he slowed down on his content creation, and there was a lot of complications. And essentially, I went from getting several clients from him every single month to between 0 and 1 per month. So as you can imagine, there was a big revenue hit there, and there was even more uncertainty. And a bit of a mistake that I made early on was, I allowed the affiliate to be too big of a percentage of my total revenue. And I acknowledged that this was a risk that I was taking. I wasn't really incentivized to truly learn the business side because I had all that revenue coming in pretty much every month, and I could kind of coast off that for a while. It was kind of like my OSCP thing, where it's like, well, I wasn't incentivized to get the OSCP because I kept getting higher paying jobs. I wasn't really truly incentivized to properly learn business because I was getting those clients coming in constantly from the affiliate. Now, fortunately, what I did, and this is something I would highly recommend you guys to do if you want to go off on your own outside of a 9-to-5, whether that is to do freelancing or to own your own business like I do, and that is to save up a buffer. Have money saved up for these rough patches, because you never know what might happen. Now, fortunately for me, I had a pretty sizable nest egg. However, it still is stressful, and it still sucks to see that total number going down every single month, because your business expenses are higher than what you're earning. And so that was a lot of the uncertainty and the things that made things really stressful and difficult for me over the past year. Now, fortunately though, and this is the biggest thing, this is what really kept me afloat this past year, is I have a ton of people in my program that are renewing. In fact, looking at the numbers, I have 63% of my total clients choose to renew after the first year in my program. And so having that super high renewal rate, and also surveying them and talking to them, they're loving the program, that also motivates me to keep going. But having that recurring revenue from people renewing is something that really helped me a ton. And it's pretty rare as well, because I was sharing some data in a previous video. It's like 30% of people actually complete any course. Like across all the courses in the world, only 30% of people will actually finish the course that they started. So the fact that I had that high of a renewal rate was a really good sign. And I know we're in a trust recession right now. The person-to-person trust is at the lowest point that it's been in the last 40 years. So don't take my word for it. I'll show you on screen some of the proof there. That was something that really helped me, but I eventually got to this point where I realized, okay, this is great and everything, but this is not sustainable forever. This is not a long-term play just to have the same people renewing again and again and again and thinking that I can sustain myself off of that. I need to actually properly go and learn the business side. Things like the sales and the marketing and all of that. The things that a lot of people that are so tied up in their product and stuff, they don't want to have to do, right? Especially technical people, they don't want to have to learn sales and marketing and these skills. But I realized, like, look, if I want this to be sustainable, if I want to be able to deliver the value and impact as many people as possible, I have to learn the skills so that I can facilitate this change in as many people as possible, and I can help people get over their own hurdles so they can finally break into this field and they can finally experience the benefits working in this amazing field of cybersecurity. But those were some of the hurdles that I had to really face this past year. And yeah, I didn't mean to end that on too doom and gloom of a note. Actually, this year has been a huge turnaround. It's been a really good year so far, and especially in recent times. There's a lot of advancements and stuff that I've made in my business and things like that, and I'm seeing a really big uptick, and I'm really excited about what I have in store and everything like that. But going back to the subject of Thailand, that is the amazing part of it. Even if I say like, oh, this is tough, that's tough, I still look around me and I'm in paradise. And the cost of living also allows me to take more risks in my business. And like I said, we'll dive into the numbers of the cost of living and all that near the end of the video. This is pretty much the best city in the world for travel, or at least in Asia. It's for a number of reasons. For one thing, obviously, if you are American, or even if you're from Europe, you have to deal with that time zone difference when you're coming over here. It's a pretty long trek, depending on where you're from in the world. And I remember as an American, when I would come over to places like Bali and other parts of Asia, it would take me basically my entire vacation until I was no longer feeling jet lagged. So I think usually for most people it take about 2 weeks, like 10 days to 2 weeks to adjust to the time change. And so that was one of the real small but powerful benefits of actually living here and having a base here is I can travel all around Asia and not have to experience that jet lag and just really be able to enjoy my time in the places. Now the other thing, of course, is going to be the cost. Obviously, if you're flying from America or something like that, it is a very big commitment, due to the time zone differences and the fact that you lose 2 days basically traveling, but also from a cost perspective. If I wanted to come here from most places in the US, you're looking at over $1,000 plane ticket, probably closer to $1,500, but I can now go all around this region for, let's say, $150 or less. So when I went to Phuket, I literally found a round trip from Bangkok to Phuket for $45. So just compare and contrast there. And even when I went to Japan and Korea, my round trip flight was around $150, maybe $200 if we're really pushing it. I mean, you would be hard pressed to even travel domestically in the US for a price as low as a couple $100s. I remember the last time that I visited the US, which was this past January, I was visiting my family in Florida, and I wanted to go back to the city of Austin, which is where I was living and working previously before relocating out here. And I was just kind of looking at plane tickets to do that, and I decided not to go because that flight, just to go a few states over from Florida to Texas, was over $700. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled now being in Asia, but I just can't justify that anymore. But yeah, living in a place that is such an amazing travel hub, that has afforded me, and also being fully remote, these two things I would say has afforded me to live a lifestyle that it just would not be possible before. So if I just look back on the last year and the places that I've traveled to, we'll start with domestic and then I'll cover the international places. So domestically, so within Thailand, I've traveled to many places, many of the islands. So I went to Phuket, which is the #1 travel destination in Thailand for most people. It's where most people will visit. It's a tropical island that has like crystal clear waters and a lot of day trips and stuff that you can take from there. There's really a lot to do. It has some nightlife and things like that as well. And I'll put these on the screen while I'm talking through with you guys. I also went to some other islands around Thailand as well, like Koh Samui, which I am excited to go back to later this year. I've been really looking forward to that. That was a really nice little getaway for a few days. Rent a motorbike, cruise around, and hang out on the beach and get some work done later in the day. And also I went to Koh Phangan for the full moon party, so that's pretty fun. That even if you don't go during the full moon party, apparently it's pretty fun as well. They have all kinds of cool nightlife on the beach and stuff there, and then you can kind of chill out during the day and just enjoy a little bit more of an off the beaten path place compared to like Phuket, where there's a lot more tourists and stuff generally. What I found in my 1 year here is I actually prefer the rainy season. A lot of people will say, oh, don't go during rainy season, you want to go during the high season. Well, I think that is all good and well if you are coming as a tourist, but what I found is that if you are going to be living here, then it absolutely makes sense to do things during the rainy season, because here's why I like it. So I like it because there's less tourists, because most people will just go when Google tells them to go, which is going to be the high season when they're no longer in the rainy season. And number two is that a lot of times, even if it does rain, it's tropical rain, so it's going to rain super, super hard. If you guys are from Florida or any regions like that, you know what I'm talking about. It rains really hard, and then it's clear after that. Now, one of the downsides, to be honest, with Thailand is there's sometimes some air quality issues and stuff, especially in Bangkok and some of the areas like that. If you're in the north, like Chiang Mai, that can also be a problem. But the nice thing is that during the rainy season, it rains super hard and it clears out the air, so you actually get the best air quality during that time. So that's another reason that I prefer. And then also the prices are lower because, there's not as many tourists and things like that. All around, just my preferred time to go. But I guess, to be fair, if you are coming from America and it's a super big commitment, you have these plans locked in, you got to do certain things on certain days, maybe it does make sense to prioritize like when there's going to be a lower chance of rain. And then also within domestic travel, I went to Isan, which is more of the countryside area of Thailand in northeast Thailand, and that was really interesting. That was a very off the beaten path experience because it's an area that not many tourists or expats will tend to visit. So seeing that side of it there, it was really cool to do something that was different than what most people would do when they come here. So I really felt like I got a better understanding of Thailand, and I also got to see, this was something that really surprised me about Thailand, is it's so different in different areas of the country. Like, you could go to a different city, like if you went from here to Chiang Mai or here to Phuket, it would feel like you're in a completely different country. There's so much diversity within Thailand. And the thing about Americans, right, we don't know anything about anything, right? We're just like, oh, all Asians are the same. That's what a lot of people think, right? Even when I go between Asian countries, I feel like I'm stepping into a different planet. When I went to Korea from here, I felt like I was on a different planet. So I guess I'll segue next into the places that I went internationally within the last year. So I was able to go to Japan, going to Osaka and Tokyo. I was able to go to Korea, explore Seoul, explore Busan. I just came back recently, a couple months ago, from a trip to China, and I went all around China. That was an amazing experience, super cool, nothing like I expected. Maybe I'll make a video on that another time if you guys are curious to hear about like the travels and the discoveries there. I just got back from Bali a couple weeks ago, Indonesia, and let's see, I went to Vietnam in December, and then I went to the Philippines earlier this year. This is all within the span of, if not this year, then within 365 days, one calendar year. Imagine if you tried to do something like that from your home country or from the US. It just would not be feasible, right? It would be a ridiculous cost for travel. It would take a ton of time, and it just wouldn't be feasible. Nowadays, I like to, since I'm fully remote, I like to go and take a trip once a month and see different things, go to different places and things like that. So that is completely doable when you're in a place like this that is such an amazing travel hub. I get direct flights anywhere, super cheap, super fast, and don't have to deal with jet lag. And another thing that's so great about living here is the immense food options that you have in Thailand. And I'm not just talking about Thai food. I think that's one of the misconceptions, is that, obviously the Thai food is amazing. It's actually my favorite Asian cuisine, I would probably have to say now, after traveling vastly around Asia at this point. Korean is a close second for sure. But you have so many options that are international as well. So yeah, of course you have plenty of delicious Asian cuisine from the region and things like that. There's even a lot of options for Japanese food and Korean food because there's a huge expat community of Korean and Japanese people. But even Western options, there's a lot of steakhouses. You can find all kinds of food from all over the world. I will say, if I had to nitpick one thing is, and this was a bit of an adjustment for me, there's not as many options that I've found, at least so far here, for Mexican food. Like, there are Mexican food places, but they don't have like a huge variety of Mexican food. And as someone that really got used to Tex-Mex as a staple, that was something I was missing a little bit. But what I found is that Bali actually has a pretty good selection of that. So I think whenever I go to Bali, I can get my fix there. But you know, for the most part, like, this is really excellent in terms of your food choices, your food variety, and the cost of the food also super affordable. It actually costs more to cook at home than it does to eat out here, pretty much, because you can do it so cheaply. And you don't just have to be eating street food all the time. There's a monitor lizard on this tree. It looks like I just missed him on the tree, but you can see him here. This is a monitor lizard. You see these things absolutely everywhere in the parks and stuff here. They're actually quite huge. Like, this guy is pretty big, if you can't tell by from the video. Little fun fact for you guys as well. Never call someone a monitor lizard in Thai if you ever learn the word for it, because actually it's one of the biggest insults that you can say to someone. And because the Thai people, they hate them. They hate the monitor lizards. And the reason for that is they eat their dead. So they're like, I guess they're like scavengers or whatever. It's like a Buddhist thing or whatever. It's really insulting if you ever call someone that. So just a little fun fact, definitely avoid doing that, even if you're doing it as a joke with someone that you know. Next thing that I absolutely love about living in Thailand is that the nightlife is world class. I'll put some clips on the screen here while I'm talking so you guys kind of see for yourself. But I'm a big nightlife person. I love nightlife. I guess like a lot of people call me extroverted and stuff, but even if you're not, like, go check it out. Like, if you come here, check out the nightlife here. I thought I didn't like nightlife as much as I did. Like, I always kind of like nightlife, but I like it a lot more than I thought I did. Like, when I was in the US, like, a lot of the nightlife, man, it's so bad in the US. It's, at least in Austin, I can't speak for all of America, though I have been to many states. I've been to Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been to you know, some of the nightlife in New York City and all around the world. And I thought by far the best nightlife is in Asia. In Asia, one of the best places is Bangkok. And everyone in the region will tell you that Bangkok, you know, like, you know, if you go to a lot of other countries, they're like, oh yeah, the nightlife's pretty good here, but it can't compare to Bangkok. Like, everyone that's been, they know just how good the nightlife is here. And there's something about like the clubs and stuff here are just, you can't tell what day of the week it is. That's the craziness of it, is there's so much happening all the time here. Especially now that I don't work the regular 9-to-5 schedule, I have to make it a point to know what day it is, because if I just step outside, whether I'm at a nightclub or even during the day, there's so much going on, there's so much happening that it always looks like a Saturday. It always looks like a Saturday versus the US, where we're very much a live for the weekend culture, and we go and party super hard, get super drunk, where like people can't even walk on the weekends. It's really bad. When I was in Austin, like, I saw like these girls getting so drunk like every weekend that it's like they were like not even functional because they're living for the weekend that much. Here it's like people drink, but it doesn't really get to that extreme. Like, I haven't seen it to that extreme where people are like not able, like people look like they're about to die or something. You know, Thai people, they'll go out during the week and stuff sometimes too. And obviously you got a lot of tourists and expats and things like that. So it keeps it lively, it keeps it fun, and especially with an international city like this, you can meet people from all over the world. But my point being is, nightlife's so amazing here, and you're pretty much in the driver's seat of when you want to do any of that, because you could literally go out any night of the week. You know, if you go out on a Monday, maybe a lot of places will be lower volume, but there's a place, if you know where to go, you could have like Saturday volume, like you're out on a Saturday, but it's a Monday. It's really crazy. But yeah, nightlife world class here. Because this video is the truth about earning US income abroad, I wanted to share my screen and walk you through my own expenses so you can use that as a way to gauge and get an idea of what is the real cost. Because you can look it up online and people will say various numbers. Sometimes you hear like crazy low numbers, but what is the realistic look at it? Because a lot of times when people tell you stuff like that, they're speaking very theoretically. They're like, if you live like a peasant, then yeah, you can get away with like $500 a month. So I want to give you a realistic view of this as someone who is actually actively living here and living the life. Let me show you my screen here and I'll walk through every expense. Now, I do my budgeting on a simple Google sheet. The way that I have this broken down is all the stuff that you see in green here, these are my business expenses, and the white ones are my personal expenses. So maybe you're watching this video and you don't have a business. Well, it's going to be you're going to need even less money in that case. So the first thing is a VPN. Maybe even for your personal use, you'd want to use a VPN, because if you're living abroad and stuff, it's nice to be able to get across the geo restrictions and stuff like that. And what I noticed is that like certain websites will load faster if you just VPN into the US, if they don't have like a CDN or something like that to make it faster. So it's this little quality of life things. It's nice to have a VPN if you're abroad. So that might be something you would even have on the personal expense. But up here, these are my annual ones. So I just get billed annually for these ones up here, and then monthly for these ones down here. But on the personal side, because that's probably what most of you guys are here for, right? On the personal expense side is, you know, having a phone in Thailand, which is honestly super cheap. It's $60 for me for the entire year. And what you'll find is when you're on a long-term visa in Thailand and in many of these places, you get a much cheaper deal on the phone plan compared to if you're on the tourist SIM card. So something to keep in mind. My gym also super cheap. It's only $144 for the entire year. And so that works out to like, what, $12 a month. And by the way, this is like a world-class gym. This is kind of like a Gold's Gym or an LA Fitness. If you're familiar with those gyms in America, it's like that same level of quality and that same size with like state-of-the-art equipment and everything. And I'm paying $12 a month for it. Yes, you heard that right. This was not a typo in the spreadsheet, I can promise you. And the next thing is my dentist appointments, which I'm going every 4 months. So annually, that ends up being about $120 a year. I mean, that's without dental insurance, by the way. I know that would be like a huge, like blow your mind type thing if you're coming from the US, where healthcare and dental care and stuff is like crazy to the point that you have to have dental insurance. In Thailand, you don't need dental insurance. And by the way, my experience when I go to the dentist office is I'm in and out in about 15 to 30 minutes. I mean, when have you ever had that experience in the US? I can tell you for a fact that I've never been in and out of a dentist office in the US in less than an hour. It always takes at least 1 hour. If I look at the ones that are billing me monthly, we got a bunch of stuff again for the business side. And I just recently canceled my one-on-one coaching that was like $1,500 a month that I mentioned a few times in other videos and stuff, because he's rolling out something else, I think, now. And so I'm kind of splitting off with him and looking in new directions as well. With I'll probably end up reinvesting this money into other training, other coaching, mentorship programs and stuff like that. So I'll probably be adding something here. But and also I don't have my IRS payments keyed in at the moment because I still have my accountants doing the tax, so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be yet. I think last year was like 15, ends up being like $1,500 a month that I was paying the IRS. So again, if you're not a business owner, then you don't have to worry about that as much. You're getting money back because it's being taken from your paycheck. Let me make that clear. You're not getting paid by the government. They're just giving you back the money they already took from you. They overtook from you. So yeah, that's a little thing about taxes there. And then some personal expenses, some subscription services that I personally use, like YouTube Premium, Audible, Aura Ring, Netflix, FaceApp. And then for my Thai expenses, these are the parts that you probably really care about. Is my rent is $600 US a month, like I said at the beginning of the video. And then I basically just give myself $2,200 every month into my Thai bank account. At the beginning of the month, I just deposit $2,200, the equivalent of $2,200 US dollars in Thai baht. And that covers everything. $100 utility, $40 for my internet, transportation. I mostly use like trains and public transit, which is like $30 a month. And here's like the biggest chunk for me. Again, if you're not a business owner, you won't have to worry about this, but I actually have to pay Thai tax because I'm on the Thai business visa. And that's a really good visa because it allows me long-term stay here. I only have to renew my visa once a year, and it gives me legal authorization to run a business in Thailand. However, the problem or the challenge is that I got to pay Thai taxes on top of the US taxes. So that really sucks. This year, I'm looking to get some tax breaks and stuff because I'm not living in the US. So I can get some foreign income exclusions and stuff like that. Yeah, this is my personal tax bills, around $5-10 just for the Thai stuff every year. And then cleaning is only like $30, and for the lady to come like twice a month and like clean my place, which is, I mean, yeah, good luck finding that in the US. I remember at a cleaning service in the US, it was like $200 a month for them to come twice. So it was like $212 or something like that, I think. And then I got catastrophic insurance internationally just to make sure that I'm covered in case of a catastrophic event, whichever country I might happen to be in, and then the budget for the haircut. I basically go twice a month, by the way. This is twice a month, so not even once, and it's only $40 total. So it's like $20 each time. I remember when I was in the US, they were charging me in Austin, it was like $50 to $60 just for a single haircut and like beard trim or whatever. So huge difference there. And then food, $400. So I'm not like eating like street food every day for $1, even though you could do that. And when you see a lot of people budgeting in, that's what they'll like recommend it by. But like in my case, I'm eating pretty good. Like I can go eat international. I can eat, you know, a variety of options, and yeah, still staying within $400, which is my own personal budget. Travel $500 because I travel quite a bit, and that's just something that I prefer. You could totally go lower on the food cost, go zero or lower on travel. And entertainment, this is like a big part of my budget, is just like going out and stuff, because I enjoy nightlife, going to nightclubs and getting tables and stuff like that. So I budget a little bit higher in my budget because I can, but you could totally obviously have this a lot lower. So what does this come out to in total? Well, the annual breakdown is going to be $85,000 for me, because a lot of this is business. About half of this is business expenses, as you'll see in a second. But annually, this breaks down to $85,000 a year. Monthly, it's about $7,100. A lot of that is like the setter team that I have up here. I have some setters, like appointment setters, which honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to even use them going forward. So if I fire that team, then I mean, my total monthly expenses is going to go down to $5K. Again, if you don't have a business, it's going to be lower. So if we just look at my personal expenses, it's $42,000 a year, which breaks down to $3,500 a month. So if you're making $40K a year in the US, I mean, what kind of lifestyle is that going to afford you, really? It's not going to be glamorous. It's not going to be, this is like me living like a king, by the way, here. All the stuff you see here, I'm living very comfortably. If we look at the business side, it ends up being $43,000 a year or $3,600 a month. So yeah, hopefully that helps kind of summarize, break everything down for you. I know this was like a longer video, a different style of vlog style. Do you enjoy these types of videos? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you are looking for ways to gain a remote skill set so that you can come either to Thailand or wherever you want to come and live a more remote lifestyle, then definitely go down below and book a call. And if you want to see the origin story of back when I sold everything that I owned last year, 1 year ago, and quit my $200K a year dream job and just up and went over here to Thailand, not knowing anything, not knowing what I was getting into, you can check out that video on screen right now.